things in this country, abortion bans will disproportionately affect those already struggling the most. The poor, most of whom cannot even afford the ridiculously high cost of abortion, let alone a child. Black, Latino, and Indigenous women, again, the very people Jesus has called us to center, to help. In this moment, we do not need more control, we need compassion. As the Religious Coalition for Reproductive Choice says best, state and federal laws must ensure all people the medical, economic, and educational resources necessary for healthy families and communities equipped to nurture children in peace and love. This is not the first time in our nation's history this is the first time in our nation's history we have walked back a human right, but this is not the first time the Supreme Court has made a horrendous decision for this nation. Dred Scott versus Stanford, Buck versus Bell, the list goes on. 1 in 4 reproductive people will have an abortion in their lifetime. Everyone loves someone who has had an abortion, and this is personal to us all. Our opposition tries to marginalize us, but we are strongly in the majority across the political spectrum. In Florida, we must stay vigilant of any attacks on our rights and celebrate those who are working hard to protect our rights to legal and accessible abortions. Please continue to vote, donate, and normalize the reality of the importance of this choice. Abortion can save lives and families too. It saved mine. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Abby. I'm not a public speaker by any means. On the contrary, I actually feel less than qualified at all times to be the one holding the mic. I've always been much better at elevating other people's voices, being a listener and a sounding board for those who can stand a little straighter and project a little louder and get their point across with exactly the right words to say, never faltering for a second. In fact, when I started volunteering for Planned Parenthood, I never imagined that it would lead to me standing here. I was just new in town and looking for a way to participate in my community. Today, however, is a different day. Today I woke up holding my breath, reaching for my phone, and began refreshing my Twitter feed compulsively. If the tree that is our constitutional right to bodily autonomy falls in the woods and everyone is there to hear it, what happens then? When I saw that news, I sat in all of the emotions I already knew were coming, the same ones that are so familiar to all of us: hurt, fear, anger, terrified and a little bit nauseous knowing that I would have to stand here in front of you and speak in just a few short hours. After all of those emotions seeped in, I felt something new and unfamiliar. I felt qualified. I have actually never been more qualified to be here because I am a person with a uterus. It seems like it should be pretty cut and dry, right? That I, the owner of a uterus, which could one day house a fetus, might be qualified to speak on this assault to my freedoms. That I can make educated decisions regarding my health and my body with help from my doctor, who will spend her life learning everything she can about the human body so that she can give me the best care and advice possible. That politicians who A, do not have a uterus, and in some cases, B, do not even understand basic human anatomy, might be among the least qualified to make those decisions for me. That our bodies are not a battlefield for political agenda. Today I want to ask Today I want to ask a few questions of the pro-life minority, politicians and civilians alike. Now that you've accomplished what you set out to do, will you be fighting for better health care for expecting mothers, especially Black women, who are 3 to 4 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes and childbirth? How many children that have entered into the care of the state have you fostered or adopted? Would you be upset if those children were instead adopted by 2 moms or 2 dads? Will you fight for mental health care for the children who were not adopted and instead spend their entire childhood being shuffled from caregiver to caregiver within the system? Will you fight for better government assistance so that single parents who carry their pregnancies to term have everything they need to give their baby a comfortable life? What about the parent who has 5 kids at home to take care of but will die if they carry their pregnancy to term? What if the child is born to a home with different religious views than your own? Or what if it has more melanin than you? If your honest answers to these honest answers to your questions, you may have a realization of your own today. You are not actually pro-life, you are simply anti-abortion. If that is the case, I am happy to tell you that you could instead fight for things that have been proven to lower abortion rates, such as proper sex education in schools and free birth control that everyone has access to. If your reasons for being pro-birth are religious, please understand that there are citizens of all religions in the United States, many of whom will lose their religious freedom in the coming weeks as individual states ban our rights to decide what is best for our own bodies and impede on our doctors' abilities to help us make those decisions with as much support and preparation as possible. In closing, I just want to take time to thank all of those here and across the United States who have dedicated their time and their energy and their hearts to fighting for our reproductive rights. Your work does not go unnoticed, and we promise to be here to take up and continue the work that you started. Thank you.
Thank you all. That is now the end for press conference. Crishellele. Yes, I actually have spelling.
What's your husband's name?
It's Chris. C-H-R-I-S.
Is he Johnson?
No, Fahey, F-A-H-E-Y.